you guys. Welcome back to the Amani Talks podcast. You're here with your host, Amani, on the podcast where we talk about our Christian topics and deepening our relationship with the Lord. And look, you guys, I have a special guest with me. I already low-key introduced you on one of my vlogs. I was like, I'm recording an episode, and her name's Tyrae, and she goes to 2819 Church.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Tyrae.
Yes, so currently I'm a teacher. I'm also a graduate student, and I also just do everything that I can to serve the Lord. So,
yeah.
Of course, like you said, I'm a small group leader. I serve in children's church and all of those things. So other than that, I'm just, I'll be chilling.
Tell us your experience with 2819 Church, because it's blowing up, y'all. I know you guys have seen it. Whenever I talk about churches, people are always in my comments, visit 2819, and I just don't say anything because I'm like, y'all, I visited before. That's how I met Tyrae, through one of her small groups. But yeah, tell us about 2019, because I know people are so curious about that church, because it's just, the pastor is just great, and it's a line outside the door, and you got to park 30 minutes away. So tell us what it's like going to that church.
Girl, okay, so I had the privilege of being a part of 2819 before it became 2819.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like right now, it's really out of control. If I can tell, the growth is out of control. Like there's no parking. Like we struggling with the parking, okay?
Girl.
But other than that, like, the Lord is doing a supernatural thing. We see so many people come to Christ every week. So many people, and so many young people. Like, I'm talking under 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that just being able to see what the Lord is doing in the youth, in the young people, it makes it all worthwhile. Like, all of the struggling for parking, struggling to get through the door, whatever, it makes it all worthwhile, because at the end of the day, we're stewarding a revival. Yeah. And Pastor P coming with the fire every time.
No, definitely.
So I absolutely love my church. I am a new woman. I'm not the same woman that I used to be as a result of being a part of 2819. So I love it.
Yeah, I love to hear it.
Yes. Love doing it. Love the people that I've met. And it's really, really, it's incredible. It's powerful. Worship is fire every Sunday. The Lord is moving every Sunday.
Yeah.
There's a word every Sunday
Yeah.
that's going to convict my soul, snatch my edges, and get me together.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
yes, I love it.
Yeah, the 2 times that I visited, I absolutely loved it too. It's just always going to be a word that not only speaks right into your situation, because he's a younger pastor in his 40s. So his testimony and the way that he connects with people is just really top tier. You don't get that at a lot of churches. So that's one thing I did like about 2019.
Yeah.
It's a really good church. And it's so many young people. It's a church of the young people. It really is. I can't remember seeing nobody over 50 in that church.
Right. And if you do, it's odd. Like, it's like, oh, hey, grandma, hey, auntie.
Yeah.
What's going on? But also it's diversifying. And that's probably my favorite part about it, is because you want your church to look like the kingdom.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so being able to see people of all different races, of all different, backgrounds and cultures, I think that part is just beautiful as well.
Definitely. So what's your advice to people trying to get in the building?
Listen.
How early they gotta come?
Listen. I'm going to tell you this. You need to get there an hour and a half early.
And you guys have 3 services still, right?
We have 3 services.
So it's an 8 a.m., an 11, and a 1:30?
It's a 8 a.m., a 10.
Okay.
And then a 12:45.
Okay. So if they want to go to the 8, they probably have a better chance, because if you get there 7 a.m., are you good?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Because we get there, like, if we're serving, we get there at 7.
Okay.
There's already a line at 7 a.m.
You're lying.
There's a line, like, down the hallway, it's a line. Yeah. So
I'm so glad I visited before it blew up as well, because if I would have visited and saw a line, y'all, I'm turning around.
Yeah. And you see people do that. Oh, I'm not getting a seat. Okay.
But people do, because they want to get in there, because it's really that powerful of a church.
And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're in the sanctuary, in the overflow. Like, it doesn't matter. You're going to feel the Spirit of God moving throughout the entire building.
Yeah, and I believe that, definitely. So I definitely wanted to talk. I had a topic in mind, and it just fits with even how you look today. You look so cute. She's got her hair did, y'all. She's on her way to a birthday party. And that just is on theme for what we're talking about, because I really wanted to dive into the subject of what it looks like to have fun as a Christian. we see a lot of videos and topics and even examples in our own lives of things that we have to give up to follow the Lord. And that's accurate. You do have to give up a lot to follow him. But we never talk about how the Lord replaces it or the fulfillment that comes from the loss or even the fun that you genuinely have as a Christian. And as someone that struggled with that very early on, when I came back into my relationship with him in February, I was like, this is going to be an edifying conversation. People need to hear what it's really like living it day by day. So what's your idea of, okay, so first of all, do you think that in your life right now, being totally committed, that you are still having fun?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. But I also think that my definition of fun has changed. Yes. My desires for fun have changed. Okay. So just to give you some background. So we thank God that I'm saved. Okay. Yeah. But I wasn't always like really living for the Lord. Like I have to be honest about that. I got saved at 4, but I did not get discipled at 4. So I didn't get discipled until I was in college, like around 18. But that was also the time that I had got my freedom. You know what I mean? So I was in Commerce, Texas, wilding, like doing God knows what. Like, thank God he didn't pull my receipts. Like, seriously. So, like I said, my definition of fun had to change. So back in that day, like back in that time, I'm thinking like, oh, party culture. Like I need to be out partying. I need to be out drinking. Like I need to be outside. Like, as the people would say, I need to be outside. And so, it didn't take me very long. I've never been like a huge party person. Like, I was never like super into the whole club scene or all of that. Yeah. But that was because the way my family was set up, I have a very, very large family, and we got together every weekend. Okay. And every weekend it was bottles. It was whatever we had going on, music, whatever. Like my mama threw the party. So I didn't have to go to no club because my mama was known for being the person to throw the parties. Yeah. Like, you see what I'm saying? And so I didn't have to worry about any of that. So when I got to like college, I'm like, okay, like let me go to this, let me go to that. We had something called racks back in the day, girl. It was a hot, sweaty mess, just a breeding ground for COVID, just terrible. And we had a good time, but I felt very quickly like I was already saved. Holy Spirit's already in me. So I'm like, this is not for me. Like, this is not where I need to be. This is not for me. This is not where I'm supposed to be. So then it got to a point where it was like, okay, I'm having more fun, at the kickback at my apartment. Like, we just games, drinks, whatever. Like, that's what we doing. No. Because one thing about it is like, I had to realize that I was seeking something that the world could not give me. You see what I'm saying? That community that you're looking for, or that like just comfort, just being around your friends, just getting away from life for a little bit. No, it didn't come from the world. Like it came with consequences. Like, you get drunk and you make a decision that you really shouldn't make. Like, you got to deal with them consequences in the morning when you sober up. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so that just was, it was very quick. And I thank God it was very quick that just wasn't fun to me no more. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that meant that I needed to find something else. So I'm from a small town, Kansas City. It's about this big. Everybody know everybody. Like, if I say I'm a Jones, somebody out there know the Joneses. Like, you know what I mean? So that being said, I wanted to explore, so as I grew, in Christ and really anchored down and decided, okay, I'm going to pursue you, I had to find different avenues. So I started traveling. Like, I started going overseas. Like, it was crazy to my little family. They was like, where you going? What's going on? Oh my God. But that was fun for me. It was very fun for me to be in Spain, and they love black women over there. Yeah. And I don't have to pay for anything, and I'm having a time of my life. You told me that. Yeah. It was very fun. Okay. It was very fun. And then, I got into different hobbies like hiking and, just doing all of the things. But I also found community in women who were also Christ-minded and who wanted to have a good time, but they were not wanting to have those consequences that we talked about earlier. Yeah. So then at that point, we started like just hanging out, and I realized that what I was actually looking for was that intimacy that comes in relationship, not just with, dudes, because I think, as Christians, we just want to be with the dudes. Like, we just want to get married so bad, like, chill. But I think when you got really solid community, I can be sitting right here with you on this couch, and we can be having the time of our life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's very true.
Yeah, so that's my spiel.
Yeah. I really feel like when you're looking for fun, that is what you're looking for, is just community and friendship and bonding time with other people. Because even when I think about my party days, it was never, I just like to go out and drink. It was, no, I want to go out and drink with my friends. That's how we genuinely bonded, was by going out. And then, of course, when I don't do that anymore, those friendships, disappear. Yeah. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, that's totally what you're missing when you're looking for fun as a Christian, is just the community. So you're saying that your idea of fun turned into more experiences, hanging out with your friends, traveling. Okay. Yeah. That totally makes sense.
Absolutely. And then I also had to recognize, like, I had to really do some deep digging, because I was like, what is it that's really causing me to want to feel like I need to be outside? What is it that's really causing me to feel like I want to be drinking? What is it that's causing me to just do these things that I know that are not of God, and do them repetitively, thinking I'm going to, like, have a good time, have a different result? And that wasn't what it was. And what I realized was, I actually wasn't necessarily looking to drink or, be out or smoke or none of that. What I really was looking for was something to ease my pain. And so, like, I was going through, like, depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff in college. I was a first generation college student. I was away from my family for the first time. I just told you, we tight knit. It's a lot of us, but we're really tight knit. Yeah. So when I had to, go all the way across and be by myself, like, that was hard. It was hard for me at that young age. And so I realized that I was going out because of depression. I was going out because of anxiety. I was going out to mask. I was using, alcohol or whatever to mask those feelings that I had. And ultimately, I needed to address those things, because when I addressed those things with the Lord, I became more satisfied in Him. And it wasn't a big deal for me to not be out, doing whatever. Yeah,
definitely. I saw a thread. The reason that I started thinking about this topic is because I was on Threads, and Threads has a really good Christian community. Really? It really does. I just got into Threads because I was like, I don't need another social media app. I'm over it. But I joined Threads because I just saw what people were posting. I was like, wait, let me see what this says. It's very similar to Twitter, but I don't know. It's very different too. But anyway, great Christian community on Threads, you guys, if you guys are looking for a Twitter alternative, because I really hate Twitter. Yeah. I hate Black Twitter with a passion. Everyone's just so much of a smarty pants. They got their buzzword of the month and everybody's talking. Girl, stop saying narcissist. I can't. Stop saying that. But anyway, I saw this girl on Threads, and she was saying, I guess, I don't know if she was a new Christian or what her story was, but she was asking, what are the nightlife vibes for Christians? What can I go out and do at night? She was saying, I don't drink and I want to go out and have fun, but that's all that there is at night is the club. So give me some suggestions. And it really made me think, like, okay, when I came into my relationship with God, I had to realize that, just like you said, your definition of fun changes. I couldn't go out with my friends and just think that, I can go out with them, but I'm just not going to drink. You're going to be miserable. That's a recipe for disaster, because not only is the temptation all around you, you're also going to feel left out. And then you're going to feel like, what am I even doing here? So you have to change your thoughts about what fun is. And I said, not sure if this really helps, but I found as a Christian that the nightlife vibe is just not for you. Nightlife is not your vibe anymore. You need to wake up early and have fulfillment during the day, so that by 10 o'clock, you're good. You're done,
Yeah, and I think that, but I would also say, like, if you have a good community of girls around you, you can have a little something in your home that would be fun. Like, you know what I mean? You can hang out with your girls and it would be fun. If you feel like you just have to have, like, something going on at 9 o'clock, get cute with your girls, go take pictures around the city. Like, do something. Like, go walk around and see what's going on. Like, sightsee, look at the lights, do something. Like, whatever you feel like you need to do, as long as it's with your community of women who are like-minded. And the reason why I say that is because it's different when you're going out with somebody that you know wants to drink and turn up and do that and do this. That's different. But if you and your girls, you know, you just want to go get you a late dinner or whatever the case may be, I don't think there's an issue or a problem with that. Now, something that's really controversial right now is like the Christian clubs.
Girl, I had that on my list. Stop getting ahead of me. I had that on my list. It was number 4. Okay, so let me just back up, and because you talk a lot about community, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something that the girls are asking a lot about, and by the girls, I mean me. But but no, that's a really big topic as well, because sometimes the Lord will have you in an isolation season, and I really do believe that when you first commit yourself to Him, that's where He has you, because y'all got to get right first before you get the friends and the boyfriend. Don't focus on that. And even when I was finding my church, I was really attracted to 2819 at first, because the whole concept of if I want Christian friends and if I want to get married, my chances are better where it's a large Black church.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes sense. But that's not where God has. He has me in the total opposite right now. And when I was praying and just asking, you know, God, confirm if this is my church, He confirmed it in different ways. But I just really realized one of the reasons He may have me at this church that I would not have thought or looked twice at is because, okay, stop focusing on everything else. Stop focusing on the friend. Stop focusing on the boyfriend. Focus on me right now. And there are other reasons, and He's never going to have you in isolation for too long. But for the girls that are in isolation right now that don't have the community, it might be a little bit harder. But I also want to just get into the ways that, how do you find community as a Christian?
Yes, girl. Okay, so it's, first of all, as a 30, you know, late 20s, early 30s something, it's going to be hard to find community in general. I think that's just something that plays our generation. It's like everybody is looking around like, we need friends, but we don't want to go outside type thing. You know what I mean? So that is difficult. Now, for me, I did get plugged into church. So like you talked about, like with your local church, I did get plugged in with my local church, and that was what helped me. I was new to Atlanta. You know, I didn't know anybody out here, but once, you know, the doors opened up after COVID and everything, and, you know, I was able to get, you know, become regular in a church, then that's where I was able to find girls who were like-minded. Okay. Because the issue is that you don't want to get with somebody that's lukewarm, and you really, like, if you're really passionate about the Lord, you really trying to seek Him, you really trying to get to know Him, you really trying to lay your life down, it's not going to be conducive for you to be with somebody that's not living the same way. You know what I mean? And you talked a little bit about how God puts us in an isolation season. He has to change your taste buds. Like, if you have been in the world and you have been, you know, just, you know, whatever. Yeah. Even if you're not just wilding, you weren't saved, okay? Yeah. You could have been chill and calm, but you were not saved. So you have some things in you, some desires in you that need to be purged. Yes. And, you know, the Lord is going to do what He needs to do to change your appetite. If you are just fresh off the world, you was at the club on Saturday, you're not going to find like really intimacy with girls who are talking about God all the time. You're going to be like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, yeah, you know, like, okay, whatever. Yeah. So,
and I'm glad you brought that up too, because just because they go to church, there's a lot of lukewarmness in churches too. Yes. So I do agree that church is definitely, I think, your best option, your number one option. It's ground zero, like literally where everyone is. But even within the church, you definitely have to kind of keep that eye out and keep your discernment on point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I do feel like, but I also understand, like, it's going to take some time. Like, you know what I mean? Because you can go to church and you can find a small group and be like, oh, this is where I'm going to be. And those girls are not for you. Yeah. Not because they're not Christian or they not. It's just that those are not your people. I've had that experience as well, where I'm like, okay, y'all cool or whatever, but let me bounce around a little bit and see if I find people that are, you know, just more similar to me.
More aligned with you.
Yeah, just like have the same interests that I have, you know? So that definitely helps me, the small group thing. Okay. But, and I think that just, like I said, with the way the world has changed, that's going to be your best bet. But I do know about some things. Like, people are going on apps. Girl, listen to me.
What apps?
There are some apps. I think it's called, it's like Upward, and there's another app. I have to look it up.
Upward. Okay.
Upward, and there's another app. Like, people are using apps to link up with and find friends.
Is this Christian specific?
Christian specific.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me them apps so I can put the links in the description
Yes.
for people that want to go that route. Because there are people that are just, they'd rather do that. I don't know.
Yeah. So
wow.
I actually met a girl from 2819 that was on that app.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is crazy. Like, let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is actually Holy. That's what it's called.
It's called Holy. Okay. That is so cute. That's really cute.
So yeah, if you listen.
Yeah.
Shoot all shots.
Definitely.
Okay, leave none unshot. Okay?
Yes.
So yeah, that's helpful, but also like just the way that you normally, we're in the Bible Belt. So it's like, if you just go outside, if you go to the park, if you talk to people at your gym, you may just find that they also happen to be Christian.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? It's not like you got to look for the ones with the mark on it. Like, no, it's not that serious.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to go back to when you were getting ahead of me with the Christian club. Okay, so for people that are, I don't even know how to say it, just newly transitioning, or maybe they are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or maybe they just really don't know. I think they can find themselves in positions like to where I was talking about, you go out, but you just don't drink, and then you're miserable. You go on vacation with those friends, and then you just can't do what they're doing, and you're just like, oh, I should have stayed home. I think there are people that will look for the Christian alternative of the same things that are out in the world. So the whole idea of a Christian nightclub, because I saw that on social media earlier this year. I think there's one in Texas. I think it was like Houston or something. I don't know. But basically the whole idea of a Christian nightclub, like yay or nay?
Okay, so here's the thing. If God can use a donkey, he can use anything. So I'm not going to crucify someone who is, early in their walk or wherever they are in their walk and taking those steps to try to get closer to God. And they decide, okay, I'm giving this up. I'm going to try this. Now, for me, I'm not doing that. That's just not for me, because what ends up happening is you go to the nightclub and then it's like, oh, I went to this nightclub. Now I can I could try this over here and just not drink, like you talked about. I think it's, if you're not careful and if you're not discerning, you can be someone who ends up like, oh, I was just over here. It was fun. We had a good time. I want to go to Magic City. I don't know. Yeah. So I think you definitely have to be careful. But I'm not going to condemn or crucify anybody who is trying to, sanctify their lives. If that's your step one, that's your step one. Yeah. And God bless you for it. He's going to see that. He's going to honor that. And eventually we're going to pull you out to where you feel like this is necessary. You see what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like for people who have really been walking with God and who, have gone through a level of sanctification. And that's not to say like these people are better than these people. Yeah. I'm not saying that. It's just a different. But I think eventually you will get to a point where that's not your desire anymore. Like, you don't care about a nightclub when there's people out here dying and going to hell. I can let go of this desire to do this when I know that I can be out here evangelizing. When I know that something like that may take my witness, I'm not going to do it. Yes. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's a journey. Yeah. It's levels to this, you know, and I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to crucify anyone for where they start. But as for me in my house, yeah, I'm not with that. Now, what I do like though is like Christian hip hop. You know, like Christian music that's like, it got a little bop in it, I was telling my homegirl, like, I'm not trying to drive to the gym listening to Shekinah Glory. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, I think that there are great alternatives for Christians. Like, it's not this rigid lifestyle that people try to make it, like where it's like, oh, I can't do this because I'm a Christian. Like, you can still enjoy life. Yeah. I'm very much so enjoying my life. I'm excited for this birthday party I'm about to go to. We're going to have a good time. Yeah. But I know also that I'm not going to have to deal with, the residue or the next morning. You know what I mean? Where I've done something that I shouldn't do or whatever. Like, Yeah,
definitely. So you're saying that the Christian nightclub whole idea might just be a slippery slope, or it might just be, okay, this is your first step, but you probably shouldn't stay there.
Yes. Okay. So absolutely. If you go there, let's not stay.
Yeah. And I totally get that, because my whole thing is I think that people think that there are elements that are God, and you can mix those elements with other things and it's okay because there's still that God element. But I think that it's more than just the elements, it's the vibe and it's the feeling, right? Because we're emotional, not just emotional, but we are humans that have so many different like elements to us and layers and everything. Yeah. And we're not just like, cut and paste. We have feelings. We have like, oh, like this song reminds me of this and this move. And I'm just like, I don't really understand the concept of it. Like you said, I think for a first step, it's okay. But how can being somewhere out at night in a dark room with blasting music not remind you of what you used to do 5 years ago? I just don't get how that's a separation. So I get like, okay, first step, but I wouldn't, a seasoned Christian, yeah, no.
But let me also say, I don't have an attraction to something like that. So I haven't been in there. So I've seen little clips online where people are like really deep into worship, like, really deep into worship. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like a first step. Okay, cool. Yeah. You start to understand that what you really falling in love with here is the worship part. Yeah. And then
maybe, that elevates for you. Definitely. Yeah. Even the concept of drinking, I know that that's a very divisive concept also in the Christian community, because there are people that say, why are you drinking? And then there's just like, drink and not get drunk. So where do you stand on that?
If you're not trying to get drunk, what are you drinking for?
Say
Hello. What are you doing? What are you baby?
Say it again. That's my... You thirsty? It's some tea, it's some juice, it's a mocktail, it's some club soda.
Listen.
It's some sparkling water. I don't really get the justification of drink and not get drunk, because that's what alcohol is for.
Yeah. And I get that some people have like a cultural tie to it. Like if you go to Rome, you do as the Romans do, whatever. And even like in Spain, like, that's something that's really part of the culture for them. And I get that, but
even your culture is sin.
Yeah, like eventually you have to get to a point where it's like, I'm going to do everything that I can to follow Christ. I'm going to find my delight in him. And I feel like when you get to that place, and I'm still trying to get to that place, but as you're working towards, like, when you really taste and see that the Lord is good, the other stuff, you're willing to sacrifice it. And I feel like drinking is one of those things that I was willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, definitely. Just because I'm all about, and it's not just about these rigid things, you guys, like we were talking about. It's not all like, don't go to the nightclub, the Christian nightclub, and don't even have one glass of wine. It's just about what spirit are you feeding with everything you do in your life? What spirit are you feeding? Because my spirit of impatience is tested by traffic, okay? So it's like, okay, well, if I don't want to feed into that spirit, I'm not leaving the house at 4 p.m. during rush hour. I'm going to get my errands done during 9 a.m. It's always going to be about adjusting your life so that the correct spirit gets fed, and that, like Paul said, all things are permissible, but not all things are going to edify you. Exactly. And a glass of wine after work, sis, is never going to edify.
It's not going to bring you closer to God.
It's never going to bring you closer to God. But yeah, it's not all about these rigid things. Like we're saying, it's just about edifying the right spirit and feeding the right spirit. Because I just did an episode a couple maybe weeks ago about training yourself for godliness, because it does not come natural to us. The wine after work comes natural to us. Yeah. The nightclubs come natural to us. Sometimes I feel like once you get a little too comfortable in your walk, it's time for that level up.
Listen,
I think so.
And also, I think it's important to know, like, the enemy is tricky. He's very, very tricky, and if you give him any sort of loophole, you better believe he's going to take advantage of that. So your one glass of wine a night can very quickly become one bottle, and just you're spiraling out of control. So.
Definitely. People definitely underestimate, first of all, how long the devil has been around. Like, you think that you have a hold on something, and the devil done tricked how many people under his belt? Like, successfully. He took a third of the angels that were already in heaven. Hello. And you think that you're just like, well, no, girl, come on. And it's not even about being smarter than, because you don't have to be the smartest girl in the room. You just have to at least be in obedience. That's what it's really about, and about just dying to yourself, which is not easy. It's not easy, so that's why you have to train yourself to do it. And there are just certain things that I think that we should stay away from when we think about fun for our Christian lives.
I think it's important to know your triggers. Because if you hear one beat or one song and it sounds like this and it makes you think about, like you talked about earlier, it brings you back to those memories. You have to be okay with letting that go.
Definitely.
Even music. If you know, listen
That's
to me.
where my mind just went. Because I can be listening to a harmless John Mayer song. Not all of a sudden I'm thinking about Pull Up on a Kid. That's where and so I just be like, for me, I know I can't listen to a lot of secular music. I personally cannot. Even the most harmless secular music, and now I'm listening to, it's a very slippery slope. It brings you back there. So whatever your triggers are, and I know my personal triggers are music. That's why I can't do the Christian nightclub, sis, because my trigger is music. I love Young Thug.
Listen.
My trigger is music. So for you, it might not be, but whatever your trigger is, you got to stay away from it completely. The whole realm of it.
But here's the thing, and what you talked about earlier was God. God is good, first of all. God is good. He's kind, he's loving, he's good. And so he's not going to take something from you and not make sure that you're good. Like, he's not going to just leave you in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Like, yes, Jesus went through his 40 days and 40 nights. But once his test was over, once he said no to the devil, he brought the angels to him to minister to him. So it's like, the Lord is not going to see you striving for him, trying to give your life to him, and
just
not
leave you out there high and dry.
He's not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. If he sees you, making sure that you're trying to clean your music up and things like that. The music that they have for Christian girlies today is much better than they had way back in 2014, 2015. Like, I'm like, okay, CJ, okay, Francesca. Like, when you just want to be cute and just chill, relax. You don't want to listen. You're not trying to go up in glory right now. You're just trying to chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have music for that,
That's very true.
Or even when you want to be more upbeat and have a good time or whatever, they have music for that, and it's glorifying and edifying to God.
Definitely. So, yeah. I just want to play a little game. Let me get the whiteboards out really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out one thing that the world would say is fun, and then we are going to write down our personal Christian alternative.
Okay.
And then we'll, just have a little chat about it. There we go. This is on the fly. I haven't even come up with the categories yet. I'm just going to kind of... Okay. So the first one, we're going to start off with things we already kind of talked about a little bit. But if you're someone that you love to go out and just have a drink with the girls. You like the bar. You like sitting at the bar. You like looking cute. You like the nighttime vibe. What would your alternative be as a Christian?
Yeah, okay.
So this is the alternative to the nightlife vibe. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you wrote dinner versus bar and a Christian fellowship at home throw a party. Okay.
So this is what I'm saying. And if you, again, I'm really big on taking baby steps. So maybe you don't do the bar, babe. Like, that's not what we're doing. But if you and your Christian girlies go out to dinner at night, you do a 9:45, 10 o'clock dinner, okay, whatever. It's Atlanta. So you can find somewhere that's open, and just be careful. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you going to dinner in a civilized place.
Okay, because I was going to say, I don't want to see you nowhere where hookah is on the main menu, okay? Don't go to, this does not apply to Pasha.
Yeah.
This don't apply to the MCK Lounge because they have an MCK restaurant and the MCK Lounge. This don't apply to the lounge. This don't apply to, like I said, anywhere where hookah's on the menu, you shouldn't be there.
If it's in the city, just don't go. Just, go to your Sandy Springs,
Not in the city.
Go to your,
You can't go to the Mexican Hooters and stuff like where the girls are wearing the short shorts. That don't count, sis.
No. So this is just because I really like getting dressed up. Like, I love to get cute.
Yeah.
Go to karaoke.
Go to Nobu. Go to Umi. Yeah.
Do what you have to do, but don't, we're not doing the bar.
Yeah.
But also, I I have the most fun at home with my people. Because when I'm at home, I'm going to play the music that I want to play. I will dim the lights or make it cute, do whatever I have to do. Yeah. And I genuinely have a good time because it's not about what we're doing. It's about who I'm with.
Yes.
It is about who I'm with, and we will have a good time. So, yeah.
Major key alert. I put no nightlife on top. I put an event in your interest because one thing I'm really big on is I like to do stuff like I want to go see the ballet. I want to go see a show. I went to New York just to go see a Broadway show.
Yes.
And they don't have as much of that in Atlanta, but they do have it. Like right now, the Nutcracker is playing. Yeah. Go to a show. They have a lot of Christmas events going on. The lights at the Botanical Gardens, a lot of stuff like that. So plan something intentional. I think that's what it is. Intentional planning. And maybe you make your calendar and you do your calendar monthly. And you look at what's going on in my city so I can get out 3 times this month at night purposefully. Absolutely. And you plan those and get those tickets, girl, and you go.
And then Eventbrite is your best friend. Listen, I have found out about so many things on Eventbrite. I mean, of course, we got Instagram, whatever. But Eventbrite has things that I would never think of going to. Like, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Let's try.
Definitely. And free stuff, too. And then I also put church event because even if your church doesn't have a lot going on for young adults, like my church doesn't really have that much going on. It's a really small church. But there are other churches that do. And you don't have to be a member of that church or go to that church just to go to their young adults, thing or their worship night, something like that.
Yeah.
So just always like plug into the churches in your area, I would say. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Let's see. What is another one? Okay. What's the alternative to what the world sees as like a traditional... Okay. Well, first of all, let's ask, do you think that there exists an alternative for a vacation?
No.
Okay.
Unless you're married.
Okay.
No, you're not doing that. No.
Yeah. No,
don't set yourself up like that. Like, don't do that.
No, I agree. Because even if you get separate hotel rooms, you're still out the country by yourselves.
And, the Bible talks about fleeing at the very appearance of evil. So not necessarily not even playing with it at all. And that's just not something that you can play with. It's a lot of sins in the Bible, but the Bible talks about fleeing from sexual immorality. Like, so don't even play like that.
No, definitely. That's why sometimes I even get convicted about being out and getting a mocktail because they don't know if it's a regular drink. I know, and I'm not convicted about it, but even the image of it sometimes convicts me like, maybe I shouldn't have the fancy looking mocktail and maybe I should just
like
in
it's
the water.
Really cute. No.
Yeah, I know. So even that, and you would say, girl, it's a mocktail. You're not drinking. Who cares what other people think? It matters. What other people see you doing actually does matter. Like Absolutely. The word tells us that.
Absolutely.
Because it goes towards your testimony. It goes towards what other people would look at you doing and say, oh, she's doing it, so it must be okay. I can do it too. Yeah, your testimony matters.
Absolutely. And your witness matters. Like, just if somebody walks up to you, they're going to assume that what's in your cup is alcohol. So it's just like, let's just not do that.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
Let's just not.
It's so funny because that was a recent conviction of mine because I'll be like, oh, let me just get a mocktail. I'm not drinking. But then I would look around and people will recognize me and they'll come up to me like, oh, Amani. And then I'm just like, girl, it's a mocktail. You have to say it. And I was just like, let me just stop. Let me just stop. What is your alternative as a Christian girl to dating? And I'm not talking about having sex. I'm talking about literally just dating people. Are dating apps a good thing for you? Is it okay to meet men that are outside of the church? I want you to write that down and just think about your alternatives to what the world sees as dating norms.
Girl. Child, you're trying to take the table with this. Okay.
1, 2, 3, flip. Dating.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Okay. So you put group dates versus a one-on-one, no dates, and major accountability. Period.
So here's the thing. I don't believe, and I just came to this revelation, But I don't think as women of God, we really have to work as hard to, find relationships, husbands, etc., as we think we do. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that if it is in the Lord's will for you to be married, the Lord will present you to your husband. And It's really just that easy. It's really just that simple. Yes. And I think that dating is something that the culture kind of put together because it's fun, like whatever. But I don't think it's ironic or on an accident that dating is not in the Bible, because it comes with so much temptation, right? It comes with so much. So when we're talking about like going out for dates, I do think that if you and your friend group, your brothers and sisters in Christ decide that y'all want to go out together, bowling, whatever, I think that's okay. Okay. Maybe you think that such and such is cute and you want to see them in an atmosphere where he or she is interacting with a bunch of people. That's fine. I feel like if it's 1 million people there, all 6 of your brothers and sisters and y'all all there having a good time, go for it. I don't think there's a problem with that. But I feel like that only comes after you have established that this person, the Lord is kind of illuminating them to you and you're wanting to see them in different atmospheres. Yeah. So that's fine. But aside from that, like just casually going out, dating, blah, 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 because you're lonely or whatever, no.
So you're saying no to one-on-one dates as a Christian. Yeah. And like I said, let me reiterate, we're not talking about sex. We are talking about literally just going on a date. No one-on-ones, period, as a Christian.
And the reason why is because it's so much. It's just, you never want to be outside of the will of God. And I feel like when you are just casually going out, meeting this person, meeting that person, like, what is your intention? Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of people say like, oh, you need to know what you like. And you need to, just do this and do that so that you can see what you like. But I just don't think that that's necessary. And I think it's an open door for the enemy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. The world tells us that it's fun to go out on a date. No sex. It's still fun to get dressed up and go and have somebody pay for your meal. That's still fun. But is your fun within the will of God? Yeah. And I totally agree with you. I don't think that a one-on-one, even because there are people that will say, I can go on Christian Mingle. And go on these apps and still date with intention. But I don't know how it is for the men. But as a woman, you out looking for a man. And when did God say that?
Oh my God.
I think that's what it is. Like, when you're on these dating apps, you are out looking for a man, and God never told you to go out looking for a man. Ever. He's never led not one woman in the Bible to go out and look for her man. So even that is like, I don't care if it's no sex. I don't care if you're always at a public place and he's not picking you up and he don't know where you live. You still out looking for a man, sis.
And you're out of alignment.
You're out of alignment.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I wrote brother in Christ to husband. And that's really, there's really no in between. I've told my friend that, let's say I go to a church to visit and a guy there thinks I'm cute and he wants to talk to me. He asked me for my number. I'm saying no even to that. Because why do you want my number and you don't know me? You don't know me, but you want my number. So you're going based off of just looks. I could be the most lukewarm. I could be an atheist just trying it out. Let's see who's in church today. And you asking me for my number, you don't even know me. So you could be going on a date with an atheist, wasting your time. And no, I want the person that asked me for my number or even asked to just kind of like see me outside of church to already know me in some capacity. Like, did you pray before you asked for my number? Did you ask about me? Did you ask other people? Amani, like, what is she up to? Look me up on social media. I don't know. But it's just like, yeah, I don't even want that. Like, you just try and go based off of looks.
Yeah. I think you do need to have someone that's very intentional.
Yeah.
You want somebody, even from the jump. Somebody that's very intentional, that's looking for, and you want to make sure that this is somebody that's looking for a wife and not somebody that's cute. Like, not somebody that's just going to be arm candy for them. You want somebody that's looking for a wife. You need to be asking about, what's going on behind the scenes, etc. So
definitely. Even when they're inside the church, you still have to have your antennas up and,
So I'm sure that there's going to be somebody that hears you say that and who says, okay, Amani, how are they going to get to know you?
Yeah.
If they don't get your number, how are they going to get to know you? How are they going to know, if you're marriage material or whatever, if they don't get to know your personality? How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
How are they going to see you? You know what I mean? What is that going to look like?
So this is how I logically think about it, because there is really no alternative. Like just 1 + 1 = 2. This will be a man that the Lord puts in my path with some kind of purpose. So even if it's not within the church, because I do some stuff outside of my church, that's kind of like some evangelism work in my community. And the Lord's going to place him there, just like he placed me there. The Lord is going to place him at my church. He's going to place him where he has the opportunity to observe me. It's not going to be, the Lord isn't going to be like, oh, well, you missed her once, never again, too bad for you. Like, that's not the way that he works. He's going to be intentional with placing my husband in the same places that he places me. So it's always going to be a situation to where he will have the opportunity to observe me, ask about me, pray over it. Right before, because once you start asking about somebody, now people are like, oh, he like her. Before you even do that, you're going to pray about it. And you're going to be like, I really do see Amani's character, and I see the way that she moves. And I don't see why this couldn't at least be somebody that is within my interest.
So how should he approach you?
He should, I really, just like you said, group dates, I think the first step will always be him like I said, he's going to ask about me, and he's going to be like, well, let's go out, like, let's have some kind of young adult meetup.
Yeah.
You guys, let's go bowling this Tuesday night. He's going to do something like that.
Listen.
And he's going to be, and here's the thing too, the devil did a number on these men, okay? He's taken away a lot of their leadership, a lot of their masculinity, a lot of their pride, a lot of their self-esteem. And so a lot of men just sit on the sidelines. They don't even approach women. But that's how you filter out a lot of men too, because I don't ever want nobody that doesn't have enough confidence to approach me. He's going to be a leader, because he's going to lead the family. So he's going to be a leader in that situation, and he's going to get the group together and say, hey, you guys, let's get in the group chat and let's go bowling Thursday night. So he's going to take charge in that situation, and that's totally how I see that happening. If it's not within my church, like I said, the Lord will place my husband in a position to where he gets to observe me over a certain amount of time. And but it will still be, I think, a group situation, because people have certain formalities and they have their ears on when they're in church or they're in the community. But just a more relaxed kind of situation, he'll wait until he sees me in that as well.
Personally, I think that the Lord would have to make my friendship a marriage. Like, I need to go from friend to married. And the reason why is because I feel like when you go out on dates and you know, like when you're really trying to get to know somebody and you know your intention is to date them, there's a mask. And I don't want to deal with that at all. I feel like when you're friends with somebody, that comes all the way down. You really get to know them for the nitty-gritty and, just get to know them for who they are.
Yeah.
So for me personally, like, we'll have to be, that's my bro. And
like I said, brother in Christ. Brother in Christ.
All of a sudden,
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
proposed to. Oh my God, I never saw that coming. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's me.
No, definitely. Because the world tells you that dating is just a part of having fun.
Yeah, no.
But it's just, yeah.
God is too intentional.
No,
you mean
definitely.
to tell me the man that knows the number of hairs on your head don't know what kind of husband you need without your input? Stop playing me.
Yeah, definitely. Moral of the story is, there's a lot of things that have to get removed from your life, and sanctification is definitely a process. It's not all going to be cut out right in the beginning. It definitely will come with your maturity, your closeness with God, all of that. But number one, there will be a removal process, but the Lord will always add and replace. Number two, you talked a lot about community, how big community is. And then number three is just finding the alternatives. Putting it as your intention. Yeah, because the Lord is very intentional, like you said. He knows what you need. He knows what you thought was fun, and he's going to give you the alternatives. You just have to be open to it.
Listen, you need to read your Bible. Okay? Before you try to have fun and do all this and do all that, like, get to know the Lord that you're trying to serve in the first place. Because as you get to know him, you will find so much satisfaction in him that you're not looking for satisfaction in the world.
Yeah.
Read your Bible.
Very true.
Read the Bible.
I
like,
would almost
seriously.
go as far as to say that when you're first committing your life to the Lord and really living in full surrender, you might not have fun in what you think, even the Christian version of fun, because the Lord is removing you and putting you by yourself to get you close to him. And then there's seasons for everything. There are seasons for everything, but you will find fulfillment though.
Yeah.
You'll always find joy, peace, fulfillment. Because even when I was out in the world having fun, and we talked about this when I was in this small group, I used to have nightmares, y'all. And I thought that was just a regular part of my life. I thought I just had bad dreams. And they would be like, sometimes I wouldn't even want to go to sleep because I knew I was going to have a really bad nightmare. And then when I broke up with that man and I gave my life back to the Lord, I have not had a nightmare since, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, nightmares for years. So there are different ways that the Lord warns you. And I just wasn't listening. But also, I also think that it was just deep-seated anxiety from me living a life that I knew I was not supposed to live. So even when you're out here having fun as a Christian, is it really fun, sis?
Right. Do you really have peace?
Yeah, are you really at peace?
Right.
That's that part. That's what it is. Tyrae, thank you so much for coming on the pod. I enjoyed having you so much.
I love you, sis.
Definitely. I was a part of Tyrae squad at 2819, and it was really, honestly, a good time. The Lord just, put me in a different church, and I'm doing other stuff during the weekends. But I would definitely pop back in very soon and catch up with everyone. Yes.
We miss you, girl.
Yes, I definitely miss everyone soon. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys later. Bye.